Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about what to watch out for if something bad happens. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, what should I think about when I work as a programmer so that I'm prepared for when, and I'm quoting here, shit hits the fan? So the short answer is you need two things. The first thing is going to be to have your skills up to scratch. You need to actually be good at what you do. That's always if at any time you ever get put into a situation where you're losing your technical skills, avoid it as much as humanly possible. Your tech skills are your bread and butter. And the second thing is invest in your personal network and build a little bit of a brand, like a personal brand for yourself. That is very, very important. Let me explain. So the previous questions that I've had regarding, okay, how can you make some side money or stuff like that, also apply in this scenario. I'm not going to touch on it all that much because I feel that should feel straightforward to most people, that if you are afraid that you will get fired as a software developer or you might lose your job or something like that, well, then of course if it's feasible to you to have some side business or a retailing business or something like that, well, that is a way to sustain yourself during that time, right? I hope that feels straightforward, but what I want to focus on are the things that will make you employable and keep you employed as a software developer, as someone who's selling your software skills or software development skills as a commodity. And the first thing is always going to be your tech skills. And this is something that I have in many formats tried to communicate to people who have said to me things like, oh, I'm the worst programmer in the world, or I'm going to get fired, etc., etc. People who have had a bit of an issue with different employers and so forth. Now, what I'm saying here isn't that you should stick by your idealistic values and you should get, to a point where you think that unit tests are the most important things or code quality is the most important thing. Like, I don't want you to be an idealist. I want you to hone your skills. I want you to be a really good software developer. And the reason why I want you to be a good software developer is because there are so many things that could potentially happen that could damage that skill. And those skills are the things that are keeping you employed. This is why I've been saying that it's not about getting any job, it's about getting the right job. Because if you get any job, you might be put in a situation where you think that you are actually improving your market value, but you're actually not. You're really only splashing around in some low-end pool where you're not actually getting an opportunity to grow your skills into something more serious, and that's the thing that's going to keep you employed. What I mean is that some developers, they get into some niched way of working, or they might be doing some low-end work at a consultant agency or something like that, where they're not actually forced to do more advanced level, enterprise level development. And enterprise level development, guys, is the creme de la creme of what you can do if you want to have a high market value. If you can land a job, even if it's in a boring company sometimes, like there are companies that may not be the most exciting thing, but just being exposed to like agile processes, infrastructure, being exposed to Scrum or whatever you might call it, and being exposed to software development at scale, this, guys, is what everybody is hiring. Every single company, your like the small consultant agencies all the way up to Google, that's what everybody's looking for. All of them. That's what real software developers do. That's what what people are looking for. The people who can handle serious software development at scale. And it's the best thing you can possibly focus on. So if you're ever questioning if like your boss asks you to start doing things such as, I don't know, taking responsibility is a good thing, guys, but you should always remember what your focus should be. Your focus should always be to keep a balance between good technical skills and good social skills. That's the point. Like, that ratio should be very, very, very tightly coupled. And you get there by making sure that you're continuously learning. Honestly, I would even go as far as to say, I would say that daily learning is the best thing for you if you want to have the highest market value. So you might hear that, oh, my voice is a little bit distorted because I've been sick for a few days now. During those days, I was basically just walking through, learning materials, every single thing that I could imagine. I have watched over 40 hours at least of cybersecurity related videos, network, like more in-depth knowledge, improving my knowledge of networking, improving my knowledge in machine learning, like etc, etc, etc. And this is how you keep that market value. If it's not necessary for you to do this all the time, you don't have to be crazy like me about it, but it's the thing, that's what makes you the money, or that's what's going to keep you employed. How good are your tech skills? And then you have the social aspects. I found a really amazing video about how to handle, like how you can work with crisis management in IT, and how the aviation companies for, you know, pilots and so forth, how they deal in a crisis situation and how they debug system problems in the air and like how they work. And these sorts of lessons, they are all around you. So daily learning is probably the best investment you can make. You don't get crazy, don't be crazy about it. You know, you need to have a life still, but you should really think about it, because this is definitely the thing that makes the biggest difference. Now, the second part is to make sure that you have a strong CV, but also that you keep on improving your personal brand. Now, a personal brand is just that people know that you are a stable developer. Now, and the best way to improve your personal brand is either if you're like a semi-public figure, something like where, I don't know, you have a presence on the internet. As an example, you might have a blog, or you might have some open source projects, or you might have a weird little YouTube channel where you're sitting in a bathtub. I don't know. The sky's the limit. You can do different things. And the reason why this is very useful to you is because it creates a lot of inbound leads, and it creates, and if you network as, say, on LinkedIn or something like that, try to make your network as big as possible. Don't just connect with people that you think are developers or like directly related to you. Just connect to a lot of people and make sure that your CV is fairly up to date, because that means that more people can find you, and your network, the bigger your network is, the more findable you become. You may not think that that florist that works in Canada is the most important person for you to be connected to, but that person has a niece, and that niece is married to a person who works at Google or something like that. I mean, it's that's what a network is. It's, you don't know who knows who. So having a big network is a very useful thing, and then having some type of presence, right? And these things combine into you basically being perceived as someone who is going to produce a lot of value, and someone who's going to be a good to be a good time to have around, like someone who is the sort of person that, oh, this seems to be an interesting person to hire because they have the tech skills and they're really passionate about what they do, and they seem to have things going on. It's brand awareness. The companies do it all the time. You know about all these brands because they spend a lot of time making sure that you know about those brands, and you can apply the same sort of mentality into your own personal life. So what I want you to take away from this is basically that if you want to prepare yourself for a situation where you might get fired, or something happens that means that you have to leave your work or something like that, the best investments, apart from having, you know, some secondary income that you can make, is to make sure that your skills are fresh and relevant. You don't have to be crazy. You don't have to sit and hit the books every single day if you don't want to. I'm just saying that you need to maintain the thing that makes you your moneymaker. This is what your money comes from. Because if you have irrelevant skills, or you're not very good at coding, you're not going to get a job, not at least as a programmer. And make sure that you also keep up those soft skills, because soft skills and technical skills, they go hand in hand. They are very, very important, both of them, and they both contribute almost in many cases equally, not always, but in many cases equally, to how employable you are, or how likely you are to get through an interview. The second thing is create a little bit of a personal brand. You can create a blog, and you don't have to write advanced things. Just write, do what I do. This is basically a vlog. This is literally me sitting down in my bathtub every morning and answering questions about things that people are wondering about in IT. Like, these are personal experiences based on myself. You don't have to do what the YouTubers are doing or what the big brands are doing and write a 100-page article on the most technical, intricate things in the world. Just share what you learn as you kind of go along if you want to. Or you can write the millionth, I don't know how many articles there are on CSS Grid or React or Angular or things like that. It doesn't have to be the most advanced thing in the world. It's just you sharing something that you are passionate about and getting a bit of exposure in return. And then make sure that you have an updated LinkedIn profile or a CV or something like that, and network a little bit. You can connect with some people and just grow that brand a little bit. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a personality on the internet. You just have to have a little bit of a presence, so that if someone wants to hire you or something goes bad, it becomes very easy for people to get a feel for the sort of person that you are. And they likely are going to say, oh, this person seems to be kind of interesting because they seem to have very strong technical skills and they have a few cool little things going on, like a blog or an Instagram or something like that, that is related to this field. I want to talk to that person. And that's what you're going for. You want to be interesting. That's all you have to be. Have a great day.